Hey, I'm Kim Jimenez, social media strategist and the creator of Zilch to Social. And in this very special holiday episode of Kim TV, we're going to be learning 3 ways to write better social media posts. So if you want to learn more, stay tuned. Hello, and a Merry Christmas. Here in the US, we're about to celebrate Christmas, and it's literally my favorite time of the year, hence the very festive hat and the little Christmas tree background. I'm so excited about the holidays because they're a big deal for my family, and we have really cool things planned, but you don't care about that. You want to know what the 3 strategies are, right? Of course. All right, so let's get down to business. Today we're going to be learning 3 great strategies for writing better social media posts. And strategy number 1 is to use contractions. Now, I got an email the other day from a client who was freaking out about some copy that I was writing for her brand. And it was funny because she was upset about the contractions I was using in the posts. Now, if you need a little English class refresher, contractions are 2 words that are made shorter by using an apostrophe. And they actually make your copy sound a lot more friendly, more casual. And of course, my client was freaking out about it because she felt like that type of conversational language was going to literally ruin her brand. It was gonna make her sound unprofessional, and she absolutely didn't want that. So I had to kindly explain that contractions are actually what you want to be using in social media posts. In school, we learned that contractions are a huge no-no when it comes to anything that's official, like writing a cover letter or resume, or maybe even your business plan. And so when it comes to social media, we have to make sort of a shift and understand that social media is about being social, it's about being friendly, it's about building relationships and having that connection with our fans and followers. And we can't do that if we don't use friendly, conversational language. No one wants to sound robotic on social media, yet we do it very often because we're preconditioned to use these very specific rules and regulations that we learned from English class. So I definitely want you guys to start using more contractions in your copy, and that way you'll sound less robotic and more friendly, more like yourself. Which leads me to tip number 2, which is to write like you talk. Novel concept, right? But it's actually a lot easier said than done. I personally struggle with this all the time. It's a challenge to actually sound like yourself. So one of the things that I've been implementing in my social media posts, and I know will serve you really well, is to use the best friend rule. And I actually learned this strategy from the awesome Nikki Ellich Brown. She teaches a course about copy, and you can find tons of awesome tips and resources over at nikkiellichbrown.com, which is her website. I'm gonna link to it below in the resource section. But the best friend rule is very simple, and I want you to do this. I want you to go back and look at your last 10 social media posts and put that in a document, send it to your best friend, or even sit down, before you're having your little Saturday night hangout and ask him or her to actually give you feedback on the 10 social media posts and let them know, does this sound like I sound? Does it sound like this is like me? And whether you have a personal brand or you have an actual brand, you still want to get that feedback, because your best friend, if they're really your best friend, they're going to give you great feedback, uncensored feedback. They're going to be honest with you and say, dude, this doesn't sound anything like you, or this doesn't sound anything like a brand I would want to connect with. Or on the other hand, they're gonna say, this is exactly you, or this is exactly the type of brand I would connect with on social media. Now, of course, there's a lot of variables here. Your best friend might not be the perfect target, but use the same concept to get feedback from real people. This is going to make such a big difference when it comes to coming off as a brand that is relatable, that understands their fans and followers and is easy to connect and engage with. So I definitely want you to put this to the test. Go ahead and do it. 10, go back to your post and look at 10 of the most recent ones and have your best friend look through them and say, you know what? This is something you would never say, or this is something you would actually say. And pay attention to the specific words, specifically adjectives that you use to describe a certain situation that you use in everyday conversational copy, When you're writing them down on social media, it might be a little bit harder to translate that into the written word. So we have to kind of decondition ourselves, if that's even a word, from everything we've learned, from writing essays and writing cover letters and resumes and all of these official documents. You have to switch the script and write like you talk. And then tip number 3, or strategy number 3 is make sure you pay attention to your grammar. So many times I see the exact contrast with a lot of clients. So they're either super corporate-like, robotic, have no personality on social media through their social media posts, or they absolutely don't care. And there's so many typos and grammar mistakes and lots of issues in their copy. They're not proofreading and they're not paying attention to what they're actually publishing. Of course, you have to be somewhere in the middle, but I don't want you to go to any extreme. And a great tool that I'm using and I absolutely love is called Grammarly. Now, most of you know that English is not my first language, and it's really hard for me to, not have typos or know exactly what type of punctuation I have to be using. And so Grammarly has been a saving grace for me because it's a little app that's installed in your Chrome browser. I believe it's available for Firefox too. And it literally follows you around the web, making suggestions in terms of your sentence structure, correcting any typos, and making grammar suggestions. So it's a really awesome. I definitely think you need to try it, whether you're writing a blog or answering an email or writing a Facebook post. Grammarly has your back and it's 100% free. You have to check it out, and I'll be linking to it in the resource section below or over on the blog post. Actually, you got to go to the blog post and get all the resources. So I hope you found those 3 tips helpful. Number 1 is use contractions. Number 2 is write like you talk. And number 3 is pay attention to your grammar. Now, a lot of clients say, okay, Kim, I understand that I have to be conversational and I have to write better copy in terms of being relatable and having a more relaxed tone of voice. But I'm really afraid that I'm going to sound unprofessional. I want people to know that I'm on social media, not just to goof off and have fun, but to actually do business. And I want to be perceived as someone who's taking it seriously. So I have 3 tips for you that can really help to really bring balance to your social media content and the way that you write and the way you communicate with your fans and followers, which is everything when it comes to social media. The first one is, if you want to be seen and perceived as a professional, then you have to act like one. You have to show up as a professional on social media, and that means being very cautious with what you share that's labeled under the TMI category. And you understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to see you airing your dirty laundry or complaining about some crazy rant on social media. Although there are a lot of exceptions, if this does not suit your brand, don't do it. You still need to be perceived as the fabulous professional that you are and that you're still taking things seriously. So be very careful with the type of content that you share that's under the label TMI. You might want to get some feedback from your current clients or even some friends before you decide to post content that might be a little bit questionable. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you're showing up every day. All right, professionals, they show up every day, and you have to make sure that you're not just posting on social media, 3 times a month and then forgetting about it for the next 3 months and then coming back to it. Because here's the thing, people are looking for you online. They're going to your pages, and when they go to your pages and they notice that you haven't posted for a week, they're like, I don't know that this person is really taking things seriously. I mean, are they really? I would be super turned off if I go to your social media page and I see that you haven't posted for the past month. So make sure that you're showing up online as a professional, and I promise you, you will be perceived as one. And the last one is to take your branding seriously. Now, I know this one doesn't necessarily tie in with the whole copywriting and sort of topic that we're covering today, but it actually does. Most of the time when we are using any type of copy on social media, it's attached to a visual, whether that be a great graphic, a photo, or it might be a video. You still need to use your branding in every aspect of your social media. And it's 2015, people. Like, seriously. Canva is alive. It's a beautiful app that gives tons of fabulous templates and great little resources you can learn at their free design school. So there's no excuse to have crappy branding in 2015. There's also great sites like Upwork where you can hire a freelancer for a very inexpensive cost and have phenomenal branding. People understand visuals, and really the brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. So hello, the messages that you're sending with your visuals are way stronger than what you're actually writing. So make sure that you're sending the right message when it comes to your visuals. So I want to make sure that you kind of understand this a little bit better. And my mom used to always say that the most humble of homes could feel like a palace if everything was clean and neatly organized. And that's the same concept really applies to your online presence, because it is your online home. So treat your social media pages with the respect that they deserve, and make sure that your cover photos are up to date, your profile pictures are awesome, and that your branding is concise and consistent with every visual that you publish online. So I hope these tips were helpful, and if they were, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Share this video with one of your entrepreneurial friends who probably needs help with their social media posts, and definitely leave me a comment below telling me which of these 3 tips applies the most to you and how you're going to be implementing it next week. I want to hold you accountable, and I want to have a conversation with you and learn more about you in the comments below. If you notice, I usually reply to every single one of my comments on my YouTube channel, so definitely go there and leave me a comment now, and I will see you in the next Kim TV episode. Oh, and before I forget, you have to sign up for my social media class. It's going to give you tons and tons of tips on how to make your social media posts amazing for this next year. I'm going to be sharing my 5 top secrets to creating content that's highly engaging and your clients will devour on social media. So definitely sign up over at zilchtosocial.com. There's going to be a link in the resource section as well, and I will see you inside the class. Bye. Ready to take your social media marketing from zero to stellar? Zilch to Social is here, and inside the course, I'll teach you how to get more engagement, grow your following, and get more leads. Get started right now with my free social media class over at zilchtosocial.com.